gonna do. I'm here for you. Really.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, I'm Dee, and we're here live with Trump and Chris Pine.
Yo. Okay, guess we're done.
Oh, you're live?
Yes.
Oh. What's up, guys?
Yo.
Hey. Someone should teach me how to change my icon too.
Oh, if you
Use
go
the
to
toolbox.
go to the toolbox. It'll show up on the right side.
I don't have a toolbox, guys.
If you
It's not important.
It's very important.
you got to put your cursor over the video.
I'm on my phone.
Oh, yeah. In that case, probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not an option. Sorry about that.
Ooh.
He said, "Ooh, ooh." You want to drop the torch, or is that cool?
It says film expert. Oh.
hmm
You guys are so schmancy.
I gotta take issue with your title there because we didn't watch a sci-fi film.
All right. I wouldn't expose that.
You wouldn't expose it?
Yeah. Like disagree.
I thought expose is like what gets you in trouble if you do it around like a playground.
Only when you have a Topher Grace haircut.
Oh, okay. Because I thought like so it's like if they're playing kickball and they're like kid's safe and you're like no I think he was out. That's exposing yourself. Drop my mouse. It's on the
You keep it
floor.
in your crotch.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Thought we were talking about Star Trek.
I was, and I took issue with the sci-fi film that you got
Yeah.
right there. Yeah.
It's not a sci-fi film, but I'm
It's
still a
not-
sci-fi film expert.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I disagreed with your assessment on Into the Darkness, and I can't necessarily say I've agreed all the way on everything that you've had to say about Star Trek Beyond.
Into
So-
the darkness.
That's what I said.
I thought it was just Into Darkness.
Is it Into Darkness?
It's
Yeah.
Star Trek. Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, well.
I'm trekking into darkness.
It was originally Into Blackness, but it didn't pull well with the people.
Oh, it pulled.
It pulled just fine for me, Vay.
All movies matter. So yeah, I think. What? Okay, so what did you like about Into Darkness that the rest of us are missing?
I thought it was action-packed. I thought it moved along nicely. I was not confused by The cut scenes, especially during action. I felt like this is the second. The third, I don't know. I waited an hour and a half for something to happen.
The ship got destroyed.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, that was a great scene. You didn't like that scene?
Right off the
Oh,
bat.
yeah, but then what happened for the next 90 minutes?
They had to use their resourcefulness to get around on the planet.
It didn't grip me.
They had to jury rig things, and I liked when they were on the planet because it was kind of like the original show, only a little bit longer.
And I can see, connections between when they were on the planet and, searching and having to be resourceful and the cut scenes of campiness. And I just felt like there was an awful lot of dropping things into the plot to justify a point later instead of driving the movie around a story.
Oh, you mean setups and payoffs?
If that's what that's called.
The movie's supposed to have setups and payoffs. Do you mean you didn't like the way that they did it? It was too obvious?
It's terribly obvious, and not in an endearing, cheesy way, in a fakey, cheesy way.
I get it. It's not the most intelligent script. I thought it was better than Into Darkness, though. What's Bull?
I don't know.
The haircut's Bull.
I'm sorry, did the film expert want to chime in?
No.
No.
So I thought the I thought the story was better than Into Darkness.
It was.
Maybe the story was, but the execution wasn't.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't. I'm not.
At the same time, the story was just corny. You can't go there for the story.
No, it's an action movie. I think you got two camps on the Star Trek movie, which is for the new Star Trek movies is you've got people who want it to be science fiction, and you got people who accept that J.J. Abrams moved it over into science fantasy, which is more like Star Wars, which is a different kind of entertainment. We don't go to Star Wars for the science fiction-y side of things. There's a little bit with the Force maybe, but nobody cares how the hyperdrive of the Millennium Falcon works. It's just a plot device to get them from one action scene to the next action scene. And that's what the new Star Trek movies are like. It's not really about science fiction-y. It's not really giving us a better vision of the future, per se. But they're action movies, so you're kind of either on board with that or you're not.
Okay, but what was the big action? I didn't find the action to be memorable at all in this third movie. Like when it was being filmed and they were fighting on ship, it was so shaky and quickly cut out that you don't even know who knocked who out. And there was no art to the fight scenes in the hand-to-hand stuff.
She didn't know I said that before.
What?
She didn't know I said that before.
No, when we were talking about it previously, he had made the same complaint about the movie. A lot of movies do that these days. I don't like that.
Right, but for example, just comparatively, the second movie, I have some very clear recollection of some scenes that were really heavily action-packed. For example, when they're on top of the unit in the sky and the four of them are fighting, the two good guys and the two bad guys coming out of the top of the ship. That was a memorable fight.
Which movie is that?
That's the second movie.
You sure?
Into Darkness.
Because I thought that was the first and the third, too.
Yeah, you're right.
That
Right. Right, but I don't know. The end scene in this most recent movie was just boring. It was boring. Who are you fighting?
With them
It was
standing
boring.
around having a drink?
Yes, that's essentially what they were doing. It was very boring.
No, that was literally what they were doing.
I'm talking about when he's fighting the dude. See, you can't get me in on these things. I'm terrible with details. I don't remember any of the names of characters and
He's fighting the dude.
When he's
Which dude?
duking
the
it
blue
out.
dude, the bad guy. Yup, in the fake
Yep.
Death Star.
What? It's a fake Death Star now?
Eh,
I thought that space station was kind of cool.
Remember when he did the
It
wireframe? Remember when they did the
Okay.
wireframe map?
the space station was very cool, except for I feel like every cool thing they put into this movie, they like hammered the crap out of it. Like it was a cool space station, but instead of showing me more functionality, they showed me more. Um,
They showed you the model from
buildings.
Elysium.
Right.
They kind of did, except they added more rings to it
Mm-hmm.
to kind of make it look cooler. I guess I don't know. I didn't quite get how
17 rings to rule them all.
I I didn't quite get why the gravity worked the way that it did. Was it like supposed to be rotating or something? Was that like
Matter?
what?
I don't know. That would have been cool to have known, though.
Does it
Over
matter?
how-
No, I'm sure it doesn't matter. It's just a movie. But
It would have been more interesting to know than why Spock and Uhura are all of a sudden arguing at the beginning of the movie. And it was really just so that they could have a point for the rock for the future so they could find him. It was just more in their. I don't know. It would have been more interesting to hear about the gravity.
I guess I thought the story was a bit more than the last
The
one.
gravity is stupid. It doesn't. It's stupid. It works on pure mysticism.
Right. I mean, I kind of get the idea of there being no gravity in the center, except I'm not exactly sure why. Because like
But there's always gravity in the center. I mean, except for the pure. I mean, you could say there's no net pull. There's no net force on you when you're at the dead center and you're a perfectly symmetrical.
this is true.
Non. What do you call that? Rigid body. But
If you want
yeah.
to get technical about it, yeah.
But
No,
yeah, I
the-
mean,
you
even the
guys
way they
miss-
have it set up, even if you had a ball of the only way it could work is if you were generating the gravity through fields of some sort, and that those fields generated the gravity from a nexus in the center. But even then, it wouldn't make sense because you don't have the gravity pulling up from all the surfaces that they were on. No matter which way you put it, the vector for gravity for people on their flat planes would have made it so that all the gravity would have pulled away from the center. So in other words, you wouldn't get trapped in a bubble in the center like they portrayed it. You would have gone to the center and you would have been struggling like you're escaping, and then suddenly you would have just been pulled like you were falling down from the top of the topmost point of the other side. Does that make sense? Like instead of going around in a circle, he would have fallen straight through and just kept falling on down to the other side. There's
Yes.
absolutely no reason for what happening, except
Yeah.
that they needed it.
Not for doing a loop. I mean, at most it would have been like one of those coins you put into like the wishing thing at the mall, and it goes around in a big circle until it comes down. Except like the reverse of that.
Yeah.
At most he would have started maybe rotating, and then he would have ended out at the side of one of them. But no, I don't know. I wasn't sure why they built the space station like that, like it was round, like it needed to be round to rotate. Like why make it a reverse planet?
Also, how do you survive? Why did Scotty have to jump out of the unit, the escape pod, after falling all the way from space? But then for some reason it wasn't going to survive that cliff.
The spit.
So
Well-
it was that. So for some reason it was less risky for him to jump out and nearly die falling outside of it than it was for him to just stay in and let it take him wherever he was going to go.
Did the space pod have a parachute though? I thought I
No.
saw them coming down with parachutes. No.
Oh, they all just hit and they would bounce off stuff and like
Oh,
that.
I
None of that made any sense because say you have inertial dampener, sure, but like those would be on the outside and they wouldn't be bouncing around and sliding and doing all that stuff that it did.
No, that's
Like-
true.
Just it has zero thought put into the sci-fi part of it at all. It's like
Oh.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah. No, yeah, not at all. It was again. It's almost back to more like Star Wars. There's
like-
a lot of things in Star Wars that don't make sense if you stop and think about
This
it.
is Independence Day.
In space.
Speaking of Independence Day 2 is
Wait a
coming out,
minute.
and I think it
It's
is.
already out.
Oh, it is
It is.
on
It
DVD.
came out like 2 weeks
Blu-ray?
ago.
I don't
Have
even
you-
see it at any of the theaters though. It wasn't playing
It
at Waterford.
was in the theaters 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Was it?
What?
Yeah,
I-
y'all
It
missed
couldn't have
it.
been good at all. Came out for Independence Day, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Obviously.
Oh, goodness.
Now I think of it.
Oh, goodness.
I had zero interest in seeing that movie. None.
I had zero interest in seeing the first one until I was forced to watch it on TV.
I didn't even like it then. I thought it was okay. Independence Day was entertaining, but it wasn't like.
It's only
Independence-
highly rated because people put it on while they barbecue. That's it.
Independence Day is in my top 5 favorite movies, guys. I
Is
don't
it-
think we
is it
can
really?
talk about movies
Yeah, you
anymore.
probably like 2012 too.
No, that's great. I don't like to talk to people I agree with all the time. That doesn't challenge my views. But okay, but I think here's the problem with a movie like Star Trek Beyond is that it's so
Break.
subjective that way because you're either into that particular action or you're not, and because like all the things that you say is true. And there were parts in the movie where I was like, that's weird, but it was just like Kirk on the motorcycle was kind of a stretch for me.
It was more than a stretch. Could it have gone on any longer?
But
Ugh.
it was also just kind of like, okay, I'm having fun, so I guess I'll go with it. I mean, they set it up well enough. He didn't just like come tooling out on a motorcycle. Like they kind of had a reason for it. But
He's just the Winter Soldier in outer space.
he was the Winter Soldier. He totally was. And
I
I'm
didn't
still-
even see Winter Soldier. I just hear about it on Facebook.
has Kirk in the new Star Trek movies, has Kirk won a single fight that he's been in?
He sucks. At least, what's his name? I can't think of his name now.
William
What was the
Shatner.
first card? Yeah, Shatner.
He's
At least
already
Shatner had his chop. His chop was very effective.
He had the chop.
Pine has nothing.
He
has
had the
taken
judo
hits
chop.
to the face.
He had the judo
Listen,
chop before judo
Pine
chop.
has plenty enough for me, okay?
He has nothing.
That's why he gets hired.
He has nothing. And he literally is. He's of that old Patrick Swayze school.
He's what?
He's of that old Patrick Swayze school of I can get punched and kicked 17 times and I'm fine because I'm a tough guy. And that's how
I think
that's
that's
how
why
I fight.
That's how I get my real daddy issues from Patrick Swayze and pining for him after
Yeah,
all
but
those
yeah,
years
if
too.
you've ever actually watched someone try to fight like that, you would be watching
Did you
someone.
say pine? Did you say pine? Hey, baby, pine for me. I can't do a Chris Pine impersonation. I don't even know what that would sound like.
Why do you even have to tell us that?
Because I've been working on it really, really hard. I look in the mirror and I imagine that this is looking back at me, and I try to visualize how would he construct this sentence to convey it.
Not like that.
So I agree. I guess I was just having fun with the movie. And my problem with Into Darkness is it rehashed too much of the first movie, and I thought the plot was needlessly convoluted for what was just an action movie. Like they were trying to give it more substance than it had. Honestly, though, they did kind of do it with this movie, and that was the end definitely fell flat for me because
What?
through the whole movie, Crawl, story-wise, Crawl, and by the way, through the whole movie, were you thinking of Crawl? Every time they said Crawl, I was thinking of Crawl. Anybody else like that? Just me?
Yeah.
Right? Like I was waiting for some connection. They were going to throw like some kind of weird disc thing.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Crawl video game for the Atari?
Vaguely.
Yeah, it was terrible, but I thought it was awesome as a kid because it was like the only video game my friend had, so we played it. But anyway, so Crawl, I thought was just like a bad guy, and I was fine with that. Like I didn't really need a reason for him to be a bad person. I just figured he was like greedy or lustful for power or some kind of evil thing. It was the same thing I ended up like not liking about Darth Vader. Was I was fine with Darth Vader as just being a bad person. You know, like they didn't have to
Wait,
set.
don't say anymore. I don't. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, you haven't seen Star Wars?
But at least you didn't know who Darth Vader was until the end of the movie.
Right.
You knew who. I mean, come on. Did you not know who Carl was going to be as soon as they showed the video of the cargo? I
Okay.
mean, the cargo of the ship, the old
All
ship.
right. You know, as a general rule, I don't pay attention to movies before they come out because it always ruins it for me. And I didn't even know that Idris Elba was in this movie.
He wasn't.
Um,
What are you talking about? he did it. He just called Sam Jackson Eldridge Elba.
No, I didn't. He's in the movie.
They all look the same.
He's trying to. So you see that? He's putting words in my mouth. So I didn't recognize him when they did the footage of the scene. I didn't get that connection until it was actually spelled out for me.
Yeah, Idris actually knocked Chris Pine out for saying racist things to him.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did. That's
What'd
why
he say?
I told her, I was like, that black guy looks very real. It didn't look like it really didn't look like makeup black guy because I don't know. That's exactly what it looks like.
I thought he was wearing a lot of makeup. He had like the rich lines.
No, he was he got punched in the face.
I know guys. I don't remember seeing it look like that. So they spent. What's going on? What? Where's she going?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. I got scared. So they spend 3/4 of the movie. He's just a bad person for no reason, and then they try to shoehorn in this like whole subplot at the end about how he felt the Federation betrayed him or something. And I didn't really need that at the end of the movie.
We just did that the last time with Cumberbatch. Why were they rehashing that same plot device?
We did right, yeah. Although this is a thing in Star Trek, though. If you go back,
frankly, one was like that too.
All right, I was reading a fan theory that I've totally bought into now, which is that like in the Next Generation, the Enterprise is an aberration. It's not the normal Starfleet ship because almost every other, like Captain Picard is like the super upright moral person, but almost every other person in authority that you run into in the Federation is some morally corrupt person who's like kind of irritated with Picard for not going along with the program. So every time there's an admiral, they're always like mad at him for not committing genocide or not relocating a bunch of people.
Because that was the contrast between Next Gen and original, is that they were in the part where you have your revolution and you make your big changes and everyone's supposed to be happy now, except the other problems that have been under the rug start creeping out, and new people in charge start getting corrupt. So yeah, that's actually a great way they did that in Next Gen, because that's the universe they were painting. It's like this is all post. It's Next Gen is really post Federation space.
Yeah, it gets into that, like, because then I think they expanded on it. I don't know if it was intentional or not with the Next Generation, other than that Gene Roddenberry really, really wanted it to be perfect in the future, and then when he died, other writers were like, not, like that's boring, and they wanted to bring other things in. So I think you got that feeling in Deep Space Nine and Voyager, right? That like not all was well with the Federation. Like maybe it was.
Oh yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Captain Picard was drinking the Kool-Aid, is what was going on. There's smarts and there's marks, and Captain Picard was a mark. Like he went and he listened to Starfleet propaganda and he bought it, and he was like, "This is how we're going to do things, and this is cool." And he ran his ship that way, and that's why nobody on the Enterprise wanted to leave. That's why Commander Riker stayed there for like 10 years, even though like in season 2 they were offering him a promotion.
Yeah, they were.
And I think Riker was like, I know what's going on in the rest of the Federation, and I'm sticking with Picard because he's the only guy here who makes sense. Everybody else is evil. Right. I think that's going on. And you see that same thing, you see that, like you said, you see that same theme in this Star Trek too. I mean, like with the first one, the Federation's all perfect, which you would kind of expect it to be because that's how Chris Pine would see it. I mean, that's how we're seeing the movie through his eyes,
Mm-hmm.
his big, beautiful blue eyes. And then as we and then into darkness, then that all changes because now suddenly the admiral's like, "Well, son, you know, Santa Claus isn't real, and Daddy needs to make money." And he's
Hey,
pushing.
walk around money.
Although I don't know how we were supposed to feel about Crawl in this movie because it almost sounds like Crawl was the leftover from the last revolution. Like his war didn't end.
Correct. It was just, it's like the whole universe is about the swinging of the pendulum, you know? It kept going, it goes back the other way. That's how it is.
Order, chaos, order. Except I don't credit this movie with enough intelligence to actually have set it up that way on purpose.
This doesn't have continuity with the rest of it.
No, it doesn't. Because like I'm not even sure the lesson. Like I said, I'm not even sure the lesson we were supposed to learn from Crawl.
This is a parallel universe. You're not supposed to. It was basically a 2-hour-long pilot for a TV show.
It was good. It was a good action flick.
Yeah, it was.
All right, in the plus column, I'm going to say Spock was a lot less annoying in this movie.
Frankly, though, Chronicles of Riddick both had more sci-fi and action in it than this movie did.
Okay, you can do both. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Chronicles of Riddick is pretty dope, actually, for a movie.
Never saw it.
Why? You need to see all those. Honestly, that's the only thing that lets me have respect for Vin Diesel at all, because I can't stand any of his other work. But
he's a super nerd though in real life.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, he'd probably be cool as hell, like in person.
Dude, the guy invents his own board game, not board games, but card games, and like.
Right.
Like Vin Diesel was the dude who played Magic and was like not good enough.
Right. I'm gonna go lift these weights and start acting.
Get those games, bro.
Right.
Get those cards. So
So
he's a breakdancer.
So we're not going to see Triple X, the return of.
Yes. No, I am.
Going to see that one together.
Is it coming out?
Yeah.
Triple X is back. I didn't like Triple X.
I didn't really care for it. It's really over the top. I mean,
it's terrible.
It's beyond Expendables over the top.
Oh, it's porn for women, I think.
It's porn for porn.
My wife is she totally loved that movie, and I'm thinking if this was a spy movie with some hot chick just being half naked the entire time doing kind of cool spy stuff, yeah, I might think it was a cool movie, but it's a dude, so and I couldn't quite live vicariously through Vin Diesel. Now
you could live vicariously in Vin Diesel.
I could live through Chris Pine though.
And Chris Pine. In the pines where the sun don't ever shine, I was shiver the whole night.
Woo! So I liked that Spock wasn't as annoying because I didn't think Zachary Quinto.
He's far less annoying.
He didn't really have the character down, which is
Bones was more annoying though.
Bones was more annoying. Yeah, the one line I loved in Into Darkness was when Chris Pine calls him on his overacting in the middle of the scene. You remember that?
Mm.
He was like, I'm a doctor, not a farmhand, or like he just kept on. He kept on. He kept on making these like old Southern analogies that wouldn't make sense at all. And do you don't remember that? And Chris Pine probably just turns to him and he's like, enough already with the metaphors. Yeah. And it was great because as the audience, that's exactly what I was thinking because it was like, oh, like we just had a transporter problem with the super high-tech technology, and then he would like walk in and be like, it's not a whiskey glass in the desert. And like no sense at all. And then finally Chris Pine was like, enough with the metaphors. Because it was at the exact moment that I was getting tired of it, and my boy Chris was like.
But it doesn't stop it because
we were like heart to heart. We were like heart to heart, Chris Pine and I, on that one on the metaphors.
Tip to tip, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to wrap it up?
Why? How long has it been?
Like a half hour.
Yeah, no, I thought the movie was fine. If you're not looking for a science fiction movie, if you're looking for a summer action movie like Jurassic
If you're not
World,
looking for like a Star Trek movie, it was really good.
Basically. But that's how 1 and 2 were too.
yeah,
Although
you know,
I'll give
okay.
1 the most credit though.
Honestly,
of all the reboots, 1 was probably my favorite.
I'll say my thing is that Into Darkness set the bar so low for me that Beyond came in high enough that I was like, hey, because I was expecting to go in and completely hate this movie, and then I was just like, it's not bad.
But what I really am so disappointed about is that all the things we talked about alone right here, look how much depth there is for the sci-fi and the philosophy, and yet what it needed the whole time, what the Roddenberry episodes needed, was the kind of high-paced action
This is what it needed right here.
combat that you see in the
Yeah.
reboot. But now they've gone full circle, and instead of bringing the legacy with them, they've now just flip-flopped to the other side. And so now it's going to become this hollow shell of what it used to be. I mean, it really needs to be both, and there's no excuse for it not to be both.
Oh, it's not going to become a hollow shell. It is a hollow shell.
Right?
Yeah, no, as an action movie, I was fine with it. I like. Oh, by the way, I just want to say I really did like the warp speed that they did in this one, where it was like the warp
Oh yeah,
actually
that looked good.
like bubbled around.
The
Like,
warp speed was good.
Like that was cool.
They should have done the Nimoy homage a lot better.
There's so much good that you're right. Because I mean, the acting is fine. The chemistry that the actors have is great. It makes it worth watching.
You could tell it came to maturity in this one with them.
It came to maturity. I thought this one, the one thing I liked more than the first Star Trek movies, I felt like this one had a bit more depth to it, in that it wasn't like just Vulcan imploding and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, the craziest thing that happened was the Enterprise got destroyed.
Yeah.
In a cool way, by the way. The little ships. Has that ever been done?
Yeah, that was a novel way of presenting it, other than just something hitting it and it blowing up or something.
Yeah, that was a high point when when Krall actually busted onto the ship. That was a high point.
It's because they cut the engines off, and because that's what every kid has ever done to a Star Trek bottle. Because you've broken the engines off. Everyone wants to know it. It's in your mind subconsciously. Somewhere like, what if we just cut the engines off? Those things look like twigs, because it looks like the weakest point on the ship, really.
Dude,
I mean, right?
That was great. That was great.
Design-wise, that looks really stupid.
Because that was the moment when you were watching it and you said, they're not getting out of this.
Yep.
That was it. Up until then, I was just like, ooh, this is going to be a tough spot. And then it was like, you just see...
Yep.
And it was like it got castrated. And it was like, that's not taking Kirk anywhere.
And frankly, why doesn't one person ever come up with these ideas? Like, he did that with mining drones. You're telling me no one else has ever thought, let me take some mining drones and just go take and do what I want and be a pirate? Like, that wouldn't that be like everyone around them?
Except they showed at the end it was kind of easily defeated with the Beastie Boys song.
And that was, oh God, that was terrible. That was probably the lowest point of the movie. To be honest.
It was so bad I enjoyed it. I was just like,
sabotage.
Why not? Why not?
That's how I felt, John. I felt the same way. I was sitting there like, really? And then, all right, all y'all is sabotage. All right.
And now I understand how Pee-wee got caught masturbating in a movie.
I must be getting old though, because like I'm not like angry like, oh, they took Star Trek and ruined it. I'm just kind of like, yeah, they're doing their thing. I hope they come out with a better Star Trek. That would be nice. If somebody like actually gets together like an action movie with a really deep plot. Somebody does like the Minority Report of Star Trek, or
yeah. Why doesn't anyone ever ruin James Bond? No one ever ruins that franchise.
What?
Well, okay, that's true. But they get
Brosnan.
But they get rid of them. But that's what I'm saying. They get rid of. He did what, 2? They get rid of them so
4.
fast. You don't even. Well, okay, that's how bad he was.
It was the 90s though.
Well, honestly, Bronson Pinchot wasn't the worst one. The worst one. I mean, no, never mind. Don't be ridiculous. Don't be ridiculous.
Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah, whatever his face is, though, he wasn't that bad actually. The worst guy was Timothy. I think Timothy Dalton was a way worse Bond.
Oh, he was. I didn't mind Pierce Brosnan as an actor playing the role. It was the scripts. I thought his.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Pierce Brosnan was fine, but it was the end of the '90s, and everything was terrible at the end of the '90s except for The Matrix, and that's why people liked The Matrix. It was about the only thing with any thought that came out. Remember how bad movies were then? Everything, nothing meant anything.
I
9/11
don't know.
saved us.
I like Strange Days.
9/11 saved us from boredom. Yeah, but that was the problem. Nobody went to see Strange Days. Everybody was too busy with the party of the '90s. Nobody's actually going to see this good stuff.
And
I mean, it was there.
I like Dead Presidents.
It was there. It was there, but there wasn't like. I don't know. I'm just saying it was different. It was a different time.
I like.
Exactly. There's a lot of fluff in the 90s.
Quentin Tarantino didn't make crap for like 10 years, did he?
There was too much. Okay, there was Pulp Fiction. There were good movies.
No,
that
but
came out.
that was 95. I'm saying like after Pulp Fiction, what did he make until
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown? Yeah, but Jackie Brown was like 2001 or 2.
Was it? Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
he disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
You know what the 90s didn't have enough of?
Oh, Dust Till Dawn.
This
He was
bad
helping
one
Robert
right here.
Rodriguez.
I
There
was
wasn't
gonna
enough of this
say,
in the 90s. He was like a child.
I'm going to bed now.
All right.
Good night, everyone. And speed.
He got confused by my peace sign.